gorgeous sunny day here at Silverstone, and we've got two packed races on the way. We've got race one coming up in less than an hour's time, so let's go and speak to some of the drivers before they get out there on the track. James, you're out there by yourself again today. How are you feeling about race one?
A bit of the old nerves, but sure we'll be all right. You just got to keep out of trouble on the first corner and see how it goes.
Do you think you've got any particular problems coming up on the first corner in terms of other people that you might run into?
I'm not planning to run into anyone, so if they sort of think the same thing, we should be good.
And do you feel a little bit nervous while you're sitting in the car waiting to go out?
It builds on you, yeah. It's quite nice, to be honest.
Well, you look quite calm and relaxed, so good luck, and we'll see you out there on the track.
Okay, thanks.
How are you feeling about race one, Roger? Are you a bit nervous? You look like you're focusing there.
I'm trying to focus a little bit. The trouble is you're always getting bothered by interviewers, but no, fine, really, fine. I'm in a fairly good frame of mind. Didn't quite perform as well as I can do in qualifying, but all things considered, P6 in the grid, I'm in the mix. I just need to push a little bit harder. So I think that's where my focus is at the moment.
Okay, and it is a pretty good place on the grid, really, out of 50 cars.
Yeah, definitely. Who's going to argue with P6? We know we should be P4, P3, P2, or even beyond. But yeah, a bit of work to do, really.
John, you're in a good position here, qualifying fourth. How are you feeling about the first race?
Yeah, well, confident that I've got a very quick partner following me up, but it's just a matter of keeping out of trouble, trying to maintain position or improving, and then handing over to the flying James Swift, as we like to call him now. So, yeah, it's just making sure that you keep it clean, and certainly in the first couple of corners.
As we speak, the cars are pulling out from the assembly area, just a few feet from where I'm standing. They're getting ready for race one, so let's make it down to the pits in time for the start of the race. Always a little bit scary standing at the front of the grid there as the cars are lining up and revving to get ready to set off for race one. It really is just 30 seconds left to go until they all kick off in just a few moments. Goodness knows how some of them must be feeling. There's a mixture of drivers out there, some more experienced than others, but let's see how it goes for the first start of race one.
The green flag is waved and the record 50-car grid sets off on the formation lap. The first race of 2011. As ever, a rolling start in the Radicals. It's Manhalalos who takes pole position with Terence Woodward and Derek Johnson alongside him on the front row. The pace car pulls in. It's Alos in the black and white and orange car on the inside, and it's Derek Johnson at the wheel of the blue car to the outside as they go through Woodcut. It's a rolling start. The red lights are going to be on until just before the point Manhalalos arrives at the start of the finish line, and they go out now. Away we go for the first time in 2011. This is Alos who's got the inside line. Intercots, but Johnson tries to have that around the outside. Alos has got the racing line, and he barges Derek Johnson aside. So it's Manhalalos who's going to lead. So they go out towards Beckett for the first time. Everybody cleanly through, which is good to see with so many cars on the grid. Into Agats they go, and then Beckett's looking for that all-important run from Chapel Curve onto Hanger Straight. Greg Hart under pressure from David Jacobs in the midfield. Jacobs running out onto the grass a little bit. He may lose a couple of positions there because he's run a little bit wide as they go into Chapel Curve, carrying the speed then on to the Hanger Straight. Everybody else cleanly through, although very close in the midfield. There is Per Staff Jr. from the back of the grid, already making up progress. Through club corner for the first time goes Manhalalos, beginning to pull away from Roger Bromley, and then Chris Hyman up into third position. A good start from Bromley from third on the grid. A couple of the midfield runners just heading a little bit wide there. I think that was possibly James Abbott in 74 who went out across over the AstroTurf as the field files through. Record grid for the Radicals, and it makes a wonderful sight in the spring sunshine here at Silverstone on the new Grand Prix circuit. So through the loop for the first time goes the race leader Manhalalos. Then we've got Roger Bromley being chased down by Chris Hyman. A good battle emerging here. Chris Hyman, very experienced former Palmer Audi and British GT man, chasing down Roger Bromley as they run down the Wellington Straight on towards Brooklands. No such worries for Manhalalos, who set pole position with the very final lap in the 15-minute qualifying session yesterday, and he's doing a fine job at the moment, converting that pole position into an early advantage. So through Luffield he goes, and then accelerator all the way down on towards Woodcut, and then through to complete the lap. So it's Alos with the advantage from Roger Bromley, and then Chris Hyman, next man through in third position, and then it's John Stanley into fourth position. David Jacobs looking to the inside of the grey car. They make contact. Around goes Jacobs. Disappointing spin for him as we head down towards Lucia in the pits.
Well, race one is already well underway. We can see that Man Alos is still in the lead. Roger Bromley has made it up to second place, and Chris Hyman and Alex Mortimer are there in third. James Swift is still fourth though, and there's about a 3-second gap there, so we'll see if that changes during the course of the race.
Well, back to the action, and Manhalos has been reeled in here by Roger Bromley, but who's that in third? It looks like it could be Per Staff Jr. from 35th on the grid. It is Staff Jr. who's come up the order. Superb drive from him, as Alos coming under concerted pressure here from Roger Bromley as they head onto Wellington Straight, well in amongst the Supersport runners, which are appreciably slower than the Radical Masters SR8s, and therefore being lapped in the early stages. That is the 32 car of Tony Brewer and Ryan Hooker, which is a lap down, having suffered some early problems. And is that a change to lead? It is. Roger Bromley has moved through up into lead the race at Brooklands, so he's going to have to negotiate the slower car very shortly as they come out of Luffield. But yes, Roger Bromley's made that move stick over Manhalos. And then we've got Per Staff in third position as they go through on to start another lap. Now, can Roger Bromley begin to pull out the advantage from Alos? Well, that helps because Alos slightly held up through Cops Corner there. Could also bring Per Staff Jr. into the equation. There's a slower car, I think, equal opportunity. They were both slowed in equal measure as the pit window opens.
Just seen Man Alos drive through the pit lane, and that was a penalty, unfortunately, for being black flagged. He'd actually been putting 4 of the wheels up onto the curb, so you're not allowed to do that, and apparently he had been warned a few times, so obviously that's going to slow down his race. Let's go and see how that's changed the standings.
Well, we've got a great race at the front because Sean Balfe, who's taken over from Roger Bromley, is leading, but he's being chased down by Per Staff Jr. I think it's going to be between the pair of them for the victory.
But you started in 6th place on the grid and you made it up to 2nd. How did you do that?
I didn't. I made it up to first.
Okay. Oh, I thought that happened after the changeover.
Yeah, I brought it in P1.
Amazing! That's great stuff. And how did you achieve that?
Well, I mean, it was extraordinary, really. You know, you probably, when you interviewed me, you saw my head was on the floor, and I don't know. I've just focused last night, spent a lot of time looking at laps and where I need to be, and as a result of that, you know, I just suddenly pulled it together. I think Terence had a coming together with Manhole, which didn't help Terence. Got through there, had a great start, and then either Manhole had a problem or I just reeled him in because, you know, I then got up to P1 and brought it home there. It was absolutely staggering. I was driving down that circuit, screaming, going, come on, honestly, it's madness. I could have put my hand through a wall. I was that pumped up. Crazy.
That is amazing. So making it from 6th all the way up to 1st in a matter of minutes. I mean, how long did that actually take you?
I think it was about lap 4. It was something madness. I was going, what is going on here? This isn't me, you know.
That is incredible. And what was it? What had you kind of looked at the track? What was it that you'd sort of noticed that you had to change?
Great question. Exactly right. I was pushing much harder into bends, so I was trying to keep my slower speed up a lot higher. So going into bends a lot hotter, but also keeping that momentum through. You know, they say it's about those things down below, and I think it really is.
Wow, and it really paid off this time.
It so did. I'm just over the bloody moon. I can't move. I tell you, I'm nearly in tears. I was that pleased with today's performance.
And we're still in 1st now.
Well, certainly last time I looked, yeah. So I mean, it'd be beyond my work. Honestly, I couldn't have begun to predict this one.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations, well done you, and we'll chat to you again later, hopefully on the podium.
I bloody hope so. Thanks very much.
And here we are, coming towards the closing stage of the race. It's Per Staff who's got the advantage over Sean Balfe. They come in towards Copse as we follow Balfe through, chasing down Per Staff Jr., who has spun the white smoke. The race leader spun. So Staff Jr., the 2010 Swedish Radical champion, he recovers, but he's lost the lead of the race. We're in the very closing stages here. Drama at the very, very end of the race. So Roger Bromley, who we heard from in the pits, when he was excited mid-race, he's going to be bouncing off the walls now because Sean Balfe is just a couple of corners away from the race victory. He comes out of entry for the final time, accelerating along the Wellington Straight. Just going to make the braking for Brooklands right. Not a problem for Sean. He's already run the Brickcart 24-hour race here, so he knows his way around Silverstone intimately as he goes into Luffield for the final time. And Sean Balfe and Roger Bromley look like they are going to claim the opening Radical Masters win of 2011. Just woodcut to go as Balfe accelerates through. The checker flag goes out and Sean Balfe takes the win, with Roger Bromley, his co-driver, having done a superb job in the first stint. Per Staff Jr. coming home in second position, and then Chris Hyman and Alex Mortimer rounding out the podium. Early race leader Man Halaus recovering up into 8th position, with the Supersport class honours going to Mark Smithson and Stuart Mosley from David Thornburn and Rob Weldon, with Richard Carver rounding out the podium. A great start to the season.
Guys, huge congratulations on your first place for the first round. Amazing. You, like you just said, Sean, you've set a high benchmark for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's a bit scary now because there's going to be high expectations, and we were realistic coming into the race. We thought top 5
Would be very nice.
would be a useful spot. So Roger's, starting pace was just tremendous.
It really was incredible. And Roger, talk us through how you go from 6th to 1st in a matter of a few laps.
I think truly there are two options, aren't there? You can either be very, cautious and keep the car around. And I'm a bit gung-ho, I'm afraid. At starts, it has to be said, if there's one characteristic of me, it's I don't mess about at the starts. And, people got held up with one another. I thought we were quite late down start-finish straight before we went. And I thought they're all going to break for for Copse, so just keep the power in, just give it a little lift and go back in. And I think a lot of people, didn't think think the same way.
So it's just a question of keeping the pace, really.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and what I said before, we're just going fast, go bloody fast.
Really go for it. And what about you, Sean? You had to kind of keep that up as well.
Yeah, it was just adjusting to the car. Not sure how much the tyres had gone off. I could see the blue and yellow car catching me. I wasn't sure how long to go, what position I was in. I had no radio. I thought, well, I'll let him through, sit on him, see how the traffic plays out. There was a lot of smoke, and dodged all that and managed to pop out in front of him.
Per, where did you start on the grid?
35th.
Amazing, and you made it up to 2nd place.
Yeah, I had the lead, but I pushed the car too much, so I spun in the first corner last lap. But I'm happy with 2nd place anyway.
That is a really good turnout. And were you driving alone today?
Yeah, alone. Yeah, and it was a really interesting race, so I'm happy with the 2nd place, and hopefully I'll win in the race too.
Do you feel that it helped driving by yourself today?
Of course, I love to be on my own.
Not a team player then.
Wow.
Okay, well, congratulations, well done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just driving every lap like a qualifying lap, trying to get as far up as we could. Every car I got to, I was trying to get past. So we ended up 3rd. It was a good start, like Chris said, in the car for the first time on Friday. So it's solid, and hopefully this afternoon will be 2 steps higher. For me, it was fine. I had a really good race with a couple of the other V8s, but apart from that, all good.
Okay, well, that's race 1 done and dusted for today here at Silverstone. Make sure you do check out the website for race 2 and all of the coverage and highlights of all of the Radical races this season. We'll see you next time.